I just feel like we're in competition right now because they are trying to normalize the devil. They are trying to populate. The devil is on the main stage at award shows and in every video and signs and symbols.
Check this out. I know I'm black, but Saturday, I'm coming to the party, yo. I'm ready.
This is behind the scenes, getting ready for Saturday.
Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel is being sued for alleged battery by a former assistant. Asa Johnson filing the lawsuit in LA County Superior Court today. It alleges that Diesel forced himself on her in his hotel suite.
Vin Diesel has skyrocketed to international stardom, largely thanks to his iconic role as the tough, bald, muscle-bound guy in the Fast and Furious franchise. His superhuman physique and that almost otherworldly deep voice have helped him carve out a solid niche in Hollywood, one that's showing no signs of fading anytime soon. But while Vin Diesel might come across as a bit of a badass on screen, things get pretty strange once the cameras stop rolling. Take his friendship with Diddy, for instance, and those infamous Diddy parties he attends. By now, it's pretty well known that Diddy's parties are far from your average Hollywood shindig. There's always some shady stuff rumored to go down at those events. So, when you hear that Vin Diesel is a regular at these gatherings, it's definitely a red flag.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did.
With all this in mind, it's not exactly shocking when news breaks about Vin Diesel getting sued. Being tight with someone like Diddy can naturally you into some messy situations. It makes even more sense when you hear Tyrese Gibson speaking up about this. Tyrese has been working with Diesel for years on the Fast and Furious franchise, so if anyone has a good read on Vin's quirks and controversies, it's him. So let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole. Vin Diesel is undeniably a hugely successful actor, one of the world's highest grossing, in fact. But his Hollywood journey hasn't been without its share of controversies, which have sometimes cast a shadow over his professional achievements. For example, his interactions with women have occasionally been problematic. There's that infamous 2016 interview with a Brazilian YouTuber that left a lot of people raising their eyebrows. At first, the interview seemed pretty standard. Diesel talked about the film he was promoting and gave a bit of background on his career. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, he started losing interest in the conversation and decided to shower the interviewer with non-stop compliments.
First one, and God, you're so beautiful. God, she's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her. How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman.
He just couldn't stop gushing over her, repeatedly telling her how beautiful she was and making suggestive comments. The interviewer did her best to steer the conversation back to the film, but Diesel kept reverting to his awkward, cringeworthy flirtations.
Tell me yours, let's get out of here. Let's go have lunch. My God, I love her. Look how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
God, wow. Man.
So Tom Hanks?
Eventually, he even suggested that they should leave together, completely disregarding the professionalism of the interview.
You guys think it's a joke? How am I supposed to sit over here when I'm looking at such beauty? Come on, guys. She's so beautiful. I'm in love.
The whole thing was just plain weird and uncomfortable, and it didn't take long for people to call him out for his behavior. Critics slammed him for being unprofessional and making the interviewer feel uneasy. And things took a turn for the worse when a former assistant of Vin Diesel decided to file a lawsuit in Los Angeles back in December 2021. She alleged that the Fast and Furious star had battered her while she was working for him in the fall of 2010 during the filming of Fast 5.
Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel is being sued for alleged battery by a former assistant. Asa Johnson filing the lawsuit in LA County Superior Court today. It alleges that Diesel forced himself on her in his hotel suite.
Vin Diesel's attorney, Brian Friedman, quickly fired back when Vanity Fair reached out for a comment. He said, "Let me be very clear. Vin Diesel categorically denies this claim in its entirety. This is the first he has ever heard about this more than 13-year-old claim made by a purportedly 9-day employee. There is clear evidence which completely refutes these outlandish allegations." According to the lawsuit, which Vanity Fair got their hands on, the plaintiff, Asa Johnson, claimed she was hired by Diesel's company One Race to work for the actor while Fast 5 was being filmed in Atlanta. The suit describes Johnson as a recent film school graduate at the time. Her job, as outlined in the lawsuit, involved organizing parties, tagging along with Diesel to various events, and making sure she was always nearby in case any photos were taken of him with other women when his longtime girlfriend wasn't around. The suit alleges that late one night in September 2020, 2010, Jonason was asked to wait in Diesel's suite at the St. Regis Hotel while he entertained hostesses he had brought back from a club. Once the other women were gone, the lawsuit claims, Diesel grabbed Miss Jonason's wrists, one with each of his hands, and pulled her onto the bed. She asked him to stop, escaped his grasp, and waited by the front door of the suite for him to leave.
Jonason claims the actor groped her and pinned her against a wall before pleasuring himself, all while she allegedly refused.
Instead, the lawsuit says he again approached Jonason and began to grope her B and kissed her chest, despite her pleas to stop. Miss Jonason was afraid to more forcibly refuse her supervisor, knowing that getting him out of that room was both crucial to her personal safety and job security. The suit continues. But this hope died when Vin Diesel dropped to his knees, pushed Miss Jonason's dress up toward her waist, and molested her body, running his hands over Miss Jonason's upper legs, including her inner thighs. According to the lawsuit, once Diesel moved to pull down her underwear, Jonason screamed and ran down the hallway toward the bathroom, where Diesel pinned her to the wall, placing her hand on his erect pee, even as she verbally refused. He got off, the suit alleges, while terrified, Miss Jonason closed her eyes, trying to dissociate from the SA and avoid angering him. Hours later, the suit alleges Samantha Vincent, Diesel's sister and the president of One Race, called Jonason to terminate her employment after less than 2 weeks on the job. It was clear to her that she was being fired because she was no longer useful. Vin Diesel had used her to fulfill his S desires, and she had resisted his SA, according to the suit, which says that Jonason's self-esteem was demolished, and she questioned her own skills and whether a successful career would require her to trade her body for advancement.
Claims hours after the incident, Jonason was fired. We reached out to Diesel's reps, but they did not give us an official comment.
This was not the first inappropriate incident that occurred while Jonason was working for Diesel, according to the lawsuit. Just a few days prior, Jonason's suit alleges another One Race supervisor summoned her to his own room at the St. Regis while she was on duty, where he took off his shirt, got into bed, and said, "Come here." Jonason immediately exited the room, according to the suit. On top of S battery, the lawsuit claims, among other things, discrimination on the basis of gender, intentional infliction of emotional distress, hostile work environment, wrongful termination, and retaliation. It also accuses Diesel and his production of an attempted cover-up and states that Jonason has suffered and continues to suffer humiliation, emotional distress, and mental and physical pain and anguish. According to the lawsuit, having signed a non-disclosure agreement when she took the One Race position, Jonason maintained her silence over the ensuing years. The suit says that she was able to file the claims thanks to the Speak Out Act, which prevents the enforcement of non-disclosure agreements in instances of SA and harassment, and California's AB 2777, which temporarily waives statutes of limitations for SA allegations occurring in 2009 or later. The suit also says that she was empowered by the hashtag #MeToo and Time's Up movements, which inspired her to reclaim her agency and justice for the suffering she endured at the hands of Vin Diesel and One Race. Jonason went on to work in the entertainment industry as an assistant and production coordinator, among other roles. But despite this scandal that could have easily ended his career, Vin Diesel managed to bounce back. Earlier this year, in February, Diesel took to Instagram to make his first public remarks about his role in the action movie series since the SA lawsuit surfaced. He expressed his excitement and gratitude for the Fast franchise, particularly the writers and production team, and their enthusiasm for the saga's final film, which he described as incredibly powerful. While everyone was heading into the weekend amped and excited, I thought of you all, reminded of the countless moments when your enthusiasm and passion became the driving force behind our creative journey, Diesel shared on Instagram. Your commitment to our saga has had a unique impact on its success and evolution. As my youngest daughter would say, it's profound. He went on to thank the Fast and Furious fans for their unwavering support, saying, "This grand finale is not just an ending. It's a celebration of the incredible family we've built together." Fortunately for Diesel, he managed to navigate through the scandal relatively unscathed, but his drama doesn't end there. Diesel's relationships with his co-stars have also been a subject of much speculation and controversy. One of the most infamous feuds is between Diesel and Dwayne Johnson, which has been as turbulent as any action sequence in the Fast and Furious franchise. Since 2016, numerous reports of behind-the-scenes drama between Diesel and Johnson have circulated, following the actors well beyond the filming of 2017's The Fate of the Furious, the inception point of their long-standing contention. During the shooting of the 8th installment of the iconic series, the two men were rumored to have clashed on multiple occasions. So, what caused these two A-list actors to fall out? On August 8, 2016, Johnson shared a lengthy, now-deleted Instagram post in which he praised his female co-stars and the Fate of the Furious crew, but called called out some of his male co-stars, though he didn't mention names. "There's no other franchise that gets my blood boiling more than this one," Johnson wrote. "My female co-stars are always amazing, and I love them. My male co-stars, however, are a different story. Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't." He added, "The ones that don't are too chicken-ish to do anything about it anyway." Candy A, "When you watch this movie next April, and it seems like I'm not acting in some of these scenes and my blood is legit boiling. You're right." Following this post, TMZ reported that Johnson and Diesel allegedly met up to hash things out in private, though it was unclear at the time whether they had resolved their differences. A source close to the production of The Fate of the Furious told People that the conflicts between Johnson and Diesel had been building up for months before Johnson's Instagram call-out. Vin has been having problems with The Rock because The Rock keeps showing up late for production, the insider explained. Sometimes he doesn't show up at all, and he's delaying the production. Other sources shared similar accounts of Diesel's behavior with The Hollywood Reporter and Page Six in 2015 and 2016, respectively. In April 2017, Vin Diesel tried to put the rumors to rest about his conflicts with Dwayne Johnson in an interview with USA Today. "I don't think the world really realizes how close we are, in a weird way," he said. Diesel suggested that the supposed beef between them might have been blown out of proportion. "I don't think that was his intention," Diesel explained. "I know he appreciates how much I work this franchise. In my house, he's Uncle Dwayne." Diesel went on to emphasize that protecting the franchise also meant protecting his relationship with Johnson. "I protect the franchise. I protect everybody, including Dwayne. I protected Dwayne more than he'll ever know, and it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to know. But he appreciates it. He knows it," Diesel added. "Dwayne has only got one Vin in his life. Dwayne Johnson only has one big brother in this film world, and that's me." Then, in a June 2021 interview with Men's Health, Diesel admitted to using tough love on set to help Johnson's portrayal of federal agent Luke Hobbs in the Fast and Furious series. "It was a tough character to embody, the Hobbs character," Diesel told the magazine. "My approach at the time was a lot of tough love to assist in getting that performance where it needed to be." He elaborated, "I could give a lot of tough love. Not Fellini-esque, but I would do anything I'd have to do in order to get performances in anything I'm producing." When Johnson talked to Vanity Fair for their November 2021 cover story, he had a few things to say about Diesel's tough love comments. "One part of me feels like there's no way I would dignify any of that bull with an answer," Johnson said. "I've been around the block a lot of times. Unlike Diesel, I did not come from the world of theater," he added. "And I came up differently and was raised differently." Johnson continued, "I came from a completely different culture and environment, and I go into every project giving it my all. And if I feel that there's some things that need to be squared away and handled and taken care of, then I do it. And it's just that simple." So when I read that, just like everybody else, I laughed. I laughed hard. We all laughed. And somewhere I'm sure Fellini is laughing too. The Red Notice star also opened up about the meeting he had with Diesel in his trailer on the set of The Fate of the Furious after his 2016 Instagram post. "I wouldn't call it a peaceful meeting. I would call it a meeting of clarity," Johnson told Vanity Fair. "He and I had a good chat in my trailer, and it was out of that chat that it really became just crystal clear that we are two separate ends of the spectrum, and agreed to leave it there." Johnson also made it clear that he and Diesel are philosophically two different people, and shot down some of Diesel's claims about their relationship.
Just like in life, you have different philosophies, and people have different philosophies, different fundamental philosophies on how you do things.
For instance, in 2017, Diesel had told USA Today he protected Dwayne more than he'll ever know, and referred to himself as Johnson's big brother in the film world. Responding to this, Johnson said, "I have one big brother, and it's my half-brother, and that's it." Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter in July 2021, Johnson revealed that he would not be returning to the main Fast and Furious franchise, making his appearance in The Fate of the Furious his last. "I've wished them well," Johnson told THR. "I wish them well on Fast 9, and I wish them the best of luck on Fast 10 and Fast 11 and the rest of the Fast and Furious movies they do that will be without me." On November 7th, 2021, Vin Diesel took to Instagram in a heartfelt plea, urging Dwayne Johnson to come back to the Fast and Furious family for their 10th movie. "My little brother Dwayne, the time has come. The world awaits the finale of Fast 10. As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house. There is not a holiday that goes by that they and you don't send well wishes. But the time has come. Legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo. I swore that we would reach and manifest the best fast in the finale that is 10. I say this out of love, but you must show up. Do not leave the franchise idle. You have a very important role to play. Hobbs can't be played by no other. I hope that you rise to the occasion and fulfill your destiny. Johnson responded to Diesel's public plea in a December 2021 interview with CNN. I was very surprised by Vin's recent post, Johnson said. This past June, when Vin and I actually connected, not over social media, I told him directly and privately that I would not be returning to the franchise. I was firm yet cordial with my words and said that I would always be supportive of the cast and always root for the franchise to be successful, but that there was no chance I would return. He added, I privately spoke with my partners at Universal as well, all of whom were very supportive as they understand the problem. Johnson didn't hold back, calling Diesel's Instagram plea a manipulation. I didn't like that he brought up his children in the post, as well as Paul Walker's death. Leave them out of it, he said. We had spoken months ago about this and came to a clear understanding. My goal all along was to end my amazing journey with this incredible Fast and Furious franchise with gratitude and grace. Johnson wrapped up his thoughts by saying, it's unfortunate that this public dialogue has muddied the waters. Regardless, I'm confident in the Fast universe and its ability to consistently deliver for the audience, and I truly wish my former co-stars and crew members the best of luck and success in the next chapter. Fast forward to May 2023, Fast and Furious fans got the shock of their lives when Johnson made a surprise cameo in the post-credits scene of Fast X. For many, this cameo signaled that the feud between Johnson and Diesel might finally be over. Apparently, director Louis Leterrier played a crucial role in brokering peace between the two stars. We sort of looked at each other from across the room and winked a few months back, saying, we should work together. And then I had this idea, and I presented it to the producers and the studio, Leterrier told The Hollywood Reporter. And then we reached out to Dwayne and his team and said, just come and watch the movie. You have to love the movie first. So he came to see the movie and really loved it. And then we started talking. It was very smooth. On June 1st, 2023, Johnson himself confirmed his return to the Fast and Furious franchise. Yes, it is true. Hobbs is back, he announced in an Instagram video. Reflecting on his past conflicts with Diesel, Johnson said, despite us having our differences, me and Vin, we've been like brothers for years, and despite our differences, when you lead with number one, resolve, but also you think about the future and plans that are much bigger than ourselves. He added, those bigger plans are the build-outs. They are the North Star. Not only is Johnson reprising his role as Luke Hobbs, but Variety reported that Hobbs will also be getting his own standalone film. Johnson will co-produce the spin-off alongside franchise screenwriter Chris Morgan, and this new film will connect the events of Fast X with 2025's Fast X Part 2, which will be the franchise's 12th film. But despite all the drama surrounding Vin Diesel and his various feuds, he's managed to carve out an incredibly successful career for himself. Born Mark Sinclair on July 18, 1967 in Alameda County, California, Vin's early life was a mix of various influences. His mother, Delora Shirlene Vincent, née Sinclair, is an astrologer with Scottish roots, and Vin was raised by her and his adoptive African-American father, Irving H. Vincent, who worked as an acting instructor and theater manager. Vin and his fraternal twin brother, Paul, moved to New York City, where they grew up. Vin has always described his ethnicity as ambiguous, pointing out that his parents' relationship would have been illegal in parts of the U.S. due to anti-miscegenation laws. He's never met his biological father, and his mother has only told him that he has connections to many different cultures. Vin started going by his stage name Vin Diesel when he was working as a bouncer at the New York nightclub Tunnel. He wanted a tougher-sounding name for the job. Vin comes from his mother's married last name, Vincent, and Diesel was a nickname his friends gave him because he was always so energetic. Besides acting, Vin Diesel supported himself by working as a bouncer and telemarketer, selling light bulbs. In 1997, he took a big step in his career by securing funds to make his first feature-length film, Strays. This urban drama, which he wrote, directed, and produced, featured him as a gang leader whose love for a woman inspires him to try to change his ways. The film was selected for competition at the 1997 Sundance Festival, which caught the attention of MTV. They considered turning it into a series, but that project never materialized. However, Strays did catch the eye of Steven Spielberg, who saw Diesel in the short film Multifacial. Spielberg cast him in a small role as a soldier in the 1998 Oscar-winning war film, Saving Private Ryan. This marked Diesel's first major Hollywood film role and opened the doors to a journey that would see him become one of the world's highest-grossing actors.